This is tutorial 7-1. In this we're going to learn how to geocode data by zip code. So we're going to start off by opening up tutorial 7-1. Just going to zoom in a little bit better. You're going to want to be in the list by source table of contents, because if you're in the list by drawing layer, you're not going to have the table showing, so make sure you're in list by source. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up the attribute table for attendees, and they just want us to use the select by attributes. And in here they want us to choose state as the top box, equals, and they want us to choose Pennsylvania. Then click apply, and we can close that little table. You should have 1124 out of the 1265 selected. These are all of the Pennsylvania attendees. With that done, we can clear this. So we're just going to X out of there. And now we are going to open up our catalog, and we are going to right click on chapter 7 of our exercise folder, and we're going to add a address locator. Up here in the browse, we are going to choose US address zip 5 digits. We're going to click OK. For now, ignore this warning that just popped up. That'll go away once we put in more things. Then we're going to go to the reference data, and we are going to choose, we're first going to go up, and because the file we need is in data, United States Geodatabase, and it's PA zip. As you can see, the warnings went away. Then we are going to change where it's going to be saved, and you do that down here. We just click on the browse. We're going to go up. We're going to want it in chapter 7 geocoding database, and we're going to call it PA zip codes. With that done, we can click save and OK. Now down here you can see that it's processing the data. A box will appear here saying whether it was successful or not. A green check mark is successful, a red X means there was an error. And it was successful. If we open up our geodatabase, we now see that we have a PA zip codes. So we can just minimize that. And back in ArcMap, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Customize, Toolbars, and we are going to be using this toolbar, Geocoding. And we are going to go to Geocode Addresses. And as you can see, only this one is here. We're going to add the other one. We're going to go up, up. It should be in your My Exercise 7, Geocoding, and there. Now with that selected, we click OK. And in here they have some things that they want us to do. Make sure attendees is the address table, and then zip code, and they want us to save it into our geocoding geodatabase in chapter 7, and they want us to name it attendee zip. Then we can click save and OK. this is what it should look like. Before, you can see that the matched is not the same number that we had before. The reason for that is that some of the zip codes might have been either omitted or incorrect. So we're just going to click close on that. And as you can see now, every zip code that appeared in this table now has a point on it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to right click. We're going to count how many people in these zip codes actually attended. So we're going to right click on here and we're going to open up the attribute table. And we're going to find the header that says match address, which is this one right here. And we're going to right click on that and we are going to go down to summarize. And in here we are going to browse once again, and we're going to save it in our chapter or exercise 7 folder, and it's going to be called count attendees. Then save and OK. And we want to add it to our map. We're going to close this and we're going to open up the one that we just added. And if we right click and go descending, we can see the highest one is the one that does not have any zip codes. Those are probably are the ones that were vacant or out of state. As you can see, these are the highest ones. If we go down, we have a lot of 1s and 2s. We can. Now what they want us to do is there's a your turn that I'm going to do along with you. We're going to join this table with this shape file. So we're going to right click on this, we're going to go to joins, and in here we're going to choose match address to account attendees and match address. We're going to click OK. Yes. And then they want us to change the symbology to graduated symbols, and they want count match address to be the one that we choose. And in here they want us to go to classify and make it quantile. Click OK and OK again. Then they just want us to zoom in here, and as you can see where the majority of the people live. Now what we're going to do is fix and rematch zip codes. Like, as you saw that a few of the ones that were in Pennsylvania came up unmatched. That's because they were either omitted or put in wrong. So we're just going to fix that. So we're going to click on make sure that this is highlighted, and we're going to click on this tool, the review rematch addresses. And they want us to scroll down to 50. See how much bigger this will get. Okay, now we're going to select this one right here, and in here we are going to scroll over and we're going to reshape these so we can see more files in here. Okay, these are the important ones to see. Now with that selected in here, what we're going to do is we're going to type in the address the book gives it to us, which is 15213, and then we're going to press tab, and this appears. Now once that appears, we are going to hit the match button. And as you can see, it popped up right here. Now the book has a your turn where they want you to go through and add in more people. So feel free to go and do that. It gives you an address that you can use to actually find the zip codes of places. But that's it for tutorial 7-1. This is tutorial 7-2, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to geocode data by street address. We're going to do a lot of things like we did in the previous tutorial. The first thing we're going to be doing is opening up ArcMap, and we are going to open up tutorial 7-2. And what they want us to look at in here is the attribute tables for both neighborhoods and, or not neighborhoods, Philadelphia streets. As you can see, it's broken up into many boxes. However, attendees, they're broken up in just one with like city and state and zip code. So with that done, we're going to do some work in our catalog, so open up that. Just like we did with the previous one, we're going to right click on geocoding in chapter 7 of our exercises, and then go to new and address locator. And what we're going to do for address locator style, we're going to choose US address dual ranges. Ignore the errors and the warnings for now. Then we're gonna choose Pittsburgh streets to be our reference, and that is in the data file in Pittsburgh and city, and it's this one right here. Okay, and then we are going to scroll down, and we are just going to put that in our geocoding geodatabase. So we're just going to call it PGH streets. With that done, we click save. You can see it changed in here, then we click OK. Now it'll take a while for it to process. It shows you right here, and a little confirmation box will appear here. Okay, now that it's been created, we are going to double click on it, and it brings us into here. There's about a paragraph of information in the book they want you to read about this. The only thing important right now is to click on the store relative path names. With that done, just click OK. And we are done using this for a while, so I'm not going to shut it down, I'm just going to minimize it. And now in our ArcMap, we're going to use the find feature. We're going to go to locations, and for the choose a locator, if we go down, we can see that our the one that we created is no longer there. So what we're going to do is go to Browse and go to our My Exercises, Chapter 7, Geocoding, and we're going to choose RPGH Streets. And asks for the full address, and we're going to give it to them. It's 3609 Penn Ave. Then we're going to click Find. And as you can see, there was a little green dot that appeared here for a moment. We're going to right click on the match down here. It's going to open up a little side menu. The more you use these tools, the quicker they work. We're going to add a labeled point, and as you can see, it appeared down here. Now it's very kind of difficult to see, so we're going to zoom in to that area, and with the select element key, we're going to click on it. As you can see, it's just a label. I can move it, so I'm just going to put it back there. I'm going to right click, and because if I want to change it, I can only change the frame. So what I'm going to do is right click it, and I want to ungroup it. What that did, it made the dot its own box and the text its own box. So I'm going to double click on the dot, and I'm going to change it to a better color. I'm going to change it to red and increase the size a little bit. Then I'm going to choose the text. I'm going to change the symbol. I'm going to give it a mask or a halo. And we'll make it bold and make it 12. Click OK. Apply. Now if we zoom out, it sticks out much better. There's a your turn where they want you to find 3 other addresses. Feel free to go ahead and do that. And once you're done with that, we can move on. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to delete that because we're done with it for now. And I don't want it covering up what we're going to be doing. So we're going to go up to our Customize, go to Toolbars, and we are going to be using our Geocoding toolbar. And we're going to select PG Streets. We're going to click on the Geocoding addresses, and here we're going to make sure this is highlighted and then click OK. And it brings us into here. Now in here we want to make sure that address table is attendees. Address should be here for street or intersection. For city we're going to go to none, and for state we're going to go to none. And for zip code we're going to choose this one right here, zip code. And we're going to save what we're doing in our Geocoding database. And we're going to save it as PGH Streets. Or I'm sorry, no, we're going to be attendee streets. And then we're going to go to Geocoding options. Now in here, they have like a brief little summary of what you can do in the book. In here, basically you can have XY coordinates attached to the new feature that we're about to create. We don't need that, so we're not going to select it. So we're just going to click OK or cancel. Either one will do it. Then we're going to click OK, and our progress bar should appear. There's going to be a lot of unmatched, so don't worry about that. And then we're just going to click close. And now these are all the addresses of the people that attended. And that's it for tutorial 7-2. This is tutorial 7-3, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to correct source addresses using the interactive rematch. You could get unmatches because of misspelling, omitting a number or part of a name. So we're going to learn how to correct some of these errors. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that geocoding results attendee street is selected, and we're going to use this button right here, the review and rematch addresses on the geocoding toolbar. If you lost that, you just go to customize toolbars and select it. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the end here. The fields that we're interested in right now is addresses, not so much cities, but we're going to just shrink these so we can get to zip code. Okay. Now what we're going to do is right click on addresses in ascending order, and we're going to go down until we get to 1011 Bradish Street. And it's right here. So what we're going to do now that we've found it is highlight it. As you can see, not all of them have a zip code, but up here there is a zip code for it. So what we're going to do is we are going to give it a zip code by selecting it. It'll bring you to the other thing, the other side. You can just scroll back so you can see. And down here is where we're going to type in the zip code, which is 1523. And with that done, we are going to hit tab. And over here they tell you a score, which is pretty much the percentage that it's correct. We want the one that's 100. So once that's done, make note up here of matched. Right now we're at 545. Hit match. It just brought it up to 546. And if we go over here now, it went from being a blank to an M, or a U to an M. U is unmatched. Okay, and just to make things a little easier, we're going to go up to all addresses, and we're just going to be dealing with unmatched. It got rid of all the ones that are matched. So there's a your turn where they want you to find another address that has a hyphen when it shouldn't. So just go ahead and do that. Okay, now for this, what we're going to do is we're going to right click on Object ID, and we're going to use ascending. And what we're going to do is scroll down to Object ID 826. We're going to highlight it. Okay, as you can see, there is no street or intersection for it, but it does give us a zip code. And what they want us to do is they tell us that there was something attached to this, or a survey that mentioned that the attendee lived on Canada Way. So what we're going to do is we're going to minimize this. This is if you have outside information. And what we're going to do is they want us to zoom into this area right here, and Canada Way is right here. So now with that done, we are going to restore this, and we're going to use this option down here, pick address from a map. So we're just going to click on that, minimize it again. we're going to zoom in roughly to the middle of Canada Way, right click and pick address, and you can see that it put a dot. And if we open up this again, we can scroll over. This match type was PP. We picked a place. And then they have M now. It went from a U to an M, so it's matched. And that's it for this tutorial. And as you can see, the match number up here went up 1 as well. That's it for this tutorial. This is tutorial 7-4, and we're going to learn how to correct street reference layer addresses. We're going to be opening up a mix file, tutorial 7-4. Just going to zoom in a little bit better. Okay. Now what they want us to do is open up clients and note the addresses. And if we come all the way down, we can notice that the last 4 are not actually addresses but places, names of places. So once that's done, we can close. And we are going to go back into Arc Catalog, and we're going to create another address locator. So we're going to right click on Geocoding in chapter 7 of my exercises. We're going to go up New and Address Locator. For the first one, we're going to choose the style, which is US dual ranges, just like the last tutorial. And our reference for this one is going to be up in Data, Pittsburgh, Central Business District, and it's this one right here, CBD Streets. We're going to scroll down and we're going to change the name of this. First we're going to browse, because we're going to want to put it in our geocoding. We're going to want to call it PGH CBD Streets. Save, then OK. While this is going on, make sure that you have your geocoding toolbar open. We're going to be using that in the next step. As you can see, this one's taking quite a bit of time. It's only 19%. There we go. So with that created, we're going to just minimize this because we'll use it later on in the tutorial, so we won't close out of it. But now that we have this, what we're going to do is we're going to open up our geo addresses. We're going to add the one that we just created. Then click OK. And here we're going to make sure this says client. These stay the same, and we're just going to browse. Make sure it's in our chapter 7 folder. We're going to call it CBD clients. With that done, we just click save and OK. You should only have 12 matches, 44%. With that done, we click OK, or close. And these are the 12 matches. Now what we're going to do is identify a problem street segment using the view and rematch addresses. So we're going to make sure that this is selected, and we're going to open up our review and rematch. And in here, what we're going to do is come up to where it says show results, and we want the unmatched addresses only. And in the addresses table, we want to right click and do sending, and we want to find 490 Penn Ave, and it's right here. So we're just going to highlight that, and as you can see, it just added a whole lot of it added 31 candidates, and they're all placed on the map right here. Some of them are probably multiple. As you can obviously see, there aren't 31. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the first one like they want, which is 500 Penn. And if we scroll down again, it's been highlighted. So with that done, we can minimize this table. And we're going to be using the select tool, which is this one right here. And the reason we picked that 500 was because it had the highest percent probability of being the correct choice. Now if we open up the attribute table for CBD streets, make sure you're in the show selected records only tab, and you'll notice that this right here is missing addresses. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be actually putting in those addresses manually. We can close our interactive map or interactive rematch window. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our editor toolbar if you need it. It's in customize toolbars, and it's right here. So we're going to go to editor and start editing. We want CBD streets, and then we're just going to click OK. And in this table, you just click once, and they tell us the numbers to use. With that done, we just go up to editor, we stop editing, and we want to save ours. So if we go back over here, we're just going to move that. Use our select item, and I believe it was this one right here. Yep, this one right here was the one that we just corrected, and as you can see, the information has stayed in there. So we're just going to close that and clear our selection. And now what we're going to do is rebuild a street locator. Because we've made changes, it's no longer 100% correct. So we're going to go back into our catalog, and we are going to right click on PGHCBD streets, and we're going to right click and rebuild. Just click OK. And it does all the work pretty much for you. Okay, with that done, we just minimize. We're going to want to click on this, make sure that it's highlighted. And what we're going to be doing now is review and rematch addresses right here. I'm going to click on that. We're going to bring it up. We want to have just unmatched addresses. And it wants us to once again select 490 Penn Ave. We're just going to come over here, which is right here. Now there's a 100% candidate for this address. And so what we're going to do is click on the 100 score, and we're going to hit match, and watch up here, it'll change from 12 to 13. Okay, with that done, we can close the review and rematch table, and it's been added. So now we have 13 dots. And that's it for tutorial 7-4. This is tutorial 7-5, and it picks up right where 7-4 left off, so we're going to be using a lot of the features that we added in that. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use an alias table. So the first thing we're going to be doing is going to the Add Data button, and we're going to be going to the Data folder. There we go. Pittsburgh, Central Business District, and we want the building name alias. It'll be a table. And what we're going to do is we're going to open up that table. And as you can see, it's 3. If you remember when we looked at the client one at the bottom, it gave us just names of places. This building name alias gives us the addresses for those. So that'll be very helpful. Okay, now we're going to click and make sure that the geocoding results is highlighted. And then we're going to click on the review and rematch. Okay, and we want to show unmatched only, so we go from all addresses to unmatched addresses. Okay. And what we're going to want to be doing now is go to geocoding options, which is right down here, and place name alias table. Okay. And in here we're going to scroll down and we're going to choose building name alias. And in here we're going to choose the building name for the alias field. And then we're going to click OK twice. 1, 2. Okay. So now we're going to scroll down to where it says Object ID 24, which is this one right here, and we're going to select it. And we're going to scroll over, and you can see that it has the nickname or the place that it was given rather than an actual address. But down here, as you can see, we have 100% because we went in here and had it look into this attribute table. Now it knows to match up that with that address. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on the 100% choice, and we're going to click match. And they want us to do this with the other ones as well. We're just click on this one and click match. click on this one, 100% match, and click match. So you should have about 16. You should have 16 matches now, and that is it for tutorial 7-5. This is tutorial 8-1. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use data queries to extract features. We're going to mainly be using selection tools to select certain things and export them as their own shapefile. We're going to start off by opening up a tutorial 8-1 mix file. And we're just going to let it load. And we're going to zoom to full extent. Okay, the first thing they want us to do is go up to selection and select by attribute. And in here they want us to choose New York boroughs as the layer to select from, and they want the name that equals Manhattan. Then we're just going to click apply and close. Now that that's selected, we're just going to right click on New York boroughs. We're going to go down to data, export it, and we are going to just make sure that it's in our chapter 8 New York geodatabase, and just name it Manhattan. And then click save. Okay, and it will convert that into its own shapefile. Just click yes to add it. And as you can see, if I turn off New York boroughs, Manhattan has stayed there. Now what we're going to do is learn another way of selecting something and then converting it into a shapefile. So we're going to go to the list by selection, and we're just going to make New York borough the only selectable choice. We're going to clear all selections first. With that done, we can go back to our draw by layer menu, and we're going to use our selection tool, and they want us to click on Brooklyn. With that done, we just right click on New York boroughs again, go to data, and export data, and we are going to just name it Brooklyn, and then save. Then OK. Now there is a your turn where they want you to use either one of those ways to do Staten Island, Queens, and Bronx. So go ahead and do that, because you're going to need those for tutorial 8-2. And that concludes tutorial 8-1. This is tutorial 8-2, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to clip features. We're going to be using the same map that we were using in the previous tutorial. And the first thing we're going to be doing is using the select by location tool, which is under selection. And from here we want to choose New York Metro roads, and we want the ones that are in Manhattan. And this one can stay the same. We're going to hit apply, and then we can close it. And then we're going to zoom into that layer. There we go. And what they want us to do now is to right click on New York Metro roads and export that as Manhattan roads. We're going to add that to our map. We can unselect things now, and we're going to turn off New York Metro roads. As you can see though, roads are still showing up on Bronx, Queens, and Brooklyn. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a tool called clipping that will get rid of those, and it'll make it look much neater. So what we're going to do is we are going to go up to Geoprocessing, and we're going to use the clip tool. And for the input features, we are going to choose New York Metro roads, and we're going to clip them to Manhattan. And we're just going to call it, we're going to browse to our exercise folder, and we're just going to call this clipped Manhattan roads, and save. And then we can click OK. And as you can see, the process is being done here. The larger the shapefile, the longer the clipping will take. I've done these with whole road systems for states, and they can take quite a bit of time. Now I'm gonna turn Manhattan roads off, and then back on. As you can see, how the lines disappear. So that is how you clip road or features to other features, and it'll make it look much neater. Like if I had to turn off everything but Manhattan, it looks much neater rather than have Manhattan roads which go off to nowhere, or even worse, New York Metro roads where you have roads all over here. The clipped feature is by far the neatest looking. There is a U-turn that you should go do. They want you to clip the roads to Bronx. And if you want, you can go do it to all of the neighborhoods. And that is it for tutorial 8-2. This is tutorial 8-3, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to use the dissolve tool. We're going to start off by opening up tutorial 8-3 mix file. And they want us to open up the New York Metro zips attribute table. And they just want us to look at this field here and this field here. What they want us to do is, as you can see, for PO name, there are multiple zip codes. For Bronx, I believe there's multiple zip codes, and so on. What we're going to do is we're going to dissolve it to where New York is just one feature, so it's going to combine, it's going to get rid of all the barriers that separate these right here. And we're also going to sum up the population for each PO name. So to do that, we're going to be using geoprocessing and dissolve. In input field, we are going to use New York Metro zips. We're going to change where we're going to save it. We want it in our New York Geo database that's in Chapter 8. And we're going to call it dissolved. NYPOS. Save. Then we're going to choose PO name as the dissolve field. And seeing that we want that statistic of population 03, we're going to choose pop 2003. As you can see, this little error popped up. That's because we don't have a statistic type yet. We're going to choose sum. And once that's done, we can click OK. And we have the progress bar down here. They want us to change the look for this. They want it hollow with an outline width of 2 and Mars red. And as you can see, it got rid of all these lines that are in here. And if we open up the attribute table for it, we now have a sum for each area. So you could use this to find out what PO name has the highest populations, lowest populations, and so forth. Brooklyn is the highest. They want us to use the identifier button right here, and they want us to choose the Jamaica PO, which is right here. And like I said, it gives you all the data that's in the attribute table just for that one feature. And that is it for tutorial 8-3. This is tutorial 8-4, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to merge features. What that means is we're going to combine 5 shapefiles into one. This will cut down on clutter eventually if you're ever doing a project. So the first thing we're going to do is open up tutorial 8-4, and as you, once it loads, what we have here is different waterways surrounding New York City. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge them and just call it New York Water. So the first thing we're going to be doing is just go up to Geoprocessing. We're going to use our merge. And once in here in the input, we're going to just add all 5. You have to do them individually. And the output, we're just going to make sure that it's in our New York Geo database, and we're just going to call it New York Water. Save, then we can click OK, and it's working right here. And as you can see, it created one large shape feature. So if we wanted to, we could right click and remove these, and it clears up our table of contents quite a bit. And if we open up the attribute table, it will have the attributes of all 5 layers combined. So this is a helpful tool when dealing with a lot of small shape files that you can turn into one big one. And that's it for tutorial 8-4. This is tutorial 8-5. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to use the intersect tool. So we're going to open up tutorial 8-5. Zoom into full extent. What they want us to notice is that the roads, the metro roads, go over the New York Water layer, and now they want us to open up the attribute table for both. If you come in here, you can see there's nothing here that talks about waterways. And if you right click on the New York Water, there's nothing that talks about roads. So what we're going to do is we're going to go up to Geoprocessing and we're going to use the intersect. And we're going to choose both of the features to be included. Now what this is going to do is it's going to select all the roads that are over the water layer. So then we're going to browse and make sure that it's in our geo database. And they want this to be called roads, water, intersection. And they want us to put output type as a line. So it's going to actually draw lines rather than have any other kind of information. So with that done, we're going to hit OK. You can see that it's working down here. And it's added it. We're going to change the symbology to black, make it a bit thicker. We're going to click OK. And we're going to just turn off New York Metro roads. And what we can see now is pretty much where all the roads that are either bridges or piers or something like that are. We can zoom into an area. See, these are most likely piers with road access. Then we have bridges. So this can be useful. And if we open up the attribute table for this, you can see now that road information has been combined with waterway information. It lets you know what roads go over what water sources. And that is it for tutorial 8-5. This is tutorial 8-6, and in this tutorial we're going to learn how to use the union tool. It's how we can combine two shape files, normally polygons, that will have the attributes of both. In this case we're going to combine zip codes with a census tract, and what that will do is it will the output will be a new feature layer with smaller polygons with attributes for those polygons. So we're going to open up our tutorial 8-6 mix file. And we're going to go up to Geoprocessing, and we're going to use the union tool. In input, we are going to choose both Manhattan zip codes and New York Manhattan tracts. We're going to have all attributes join, and we're not going to allow gaps. For some reason it won't let me uncheck. There we go. Mine's running a little bit slow today. And we're going to save it into our, I'm just going to call this Manhattan Union. So those two should be in. Make sure gaps allowed is unchecked. And once that's done, you just click OK. under here we have that it's processing. And now, if we open up Manhattan Tracks, or just the tracks, we can see what's in here. And there's only 296 total items. In this one, we have only 40. And it goes on and it tells you information about those 40. But if we open up the Manhattan Union, it will have it has 632. And it has everything from shape files to, object zips, state, and over it'll tell us a lot more information, and it'll be more narrowed down. So this can be a useful tool. And that's it for tutorial 8-6. This is tutorial 8-7. In this tutorial we're going to learn how to make a model builder. The first step we're going to do is open up ArcMap. And we're going to open up tutorial 8-7. And we're going to be using the catalog that's in ArcMap for this tutorial, just for ease of using some other things, because we're going to be using the search feature as well. Okay, first we're going to go up to Geoprocessing and go to Processing Options. And you want to make sure that overwrite the outputs of geoprocessing operations is checked, which for me it is, but I've gone in earlier and checked it. So do that and click OK. And now with that, what we're going to do is we're going to open up our catalog over here, and we are going to be working in GIST1. Our exercise, we want to go to chapter 8. We want to right click on that, go to new, and we're going to be adding a toolbox. We're just going to call it chapter 8. Okay. With that done, we're going to right click on it, and we're going to go to new, and we're going to add a model. And the model builder window should pop up. With that, what we're going to do now is we're going to use our search. And we're going to click on Tools and Data Management Tools. And in here they want us to scroll down and click Joins. And they want us to add joins onto our model sheet. And it should look something like this. Now they want us to double click on the add join, and in this table they want us to do the following changes. They want tracks to be chosen, FIPS, and crosswalks, and STX ID. Up here there's a warning. And then we're going to uncheck this, keep all tracks. Then we're going to click OK. And we should have something that looks similar to this. And they want us to save our model. Okay, now they want us to right click on the add join and click on run. And right down here it says that it succeeded, that it didn't run into any errors. With that seen, we can click close. Now what we're going to do is type dissolve into the search. And we're going to click and drag that onto our process right below add join. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Now we're going to use this connect tool up here, and we're going to click on tracks, which is the output of add joins, and we're going to drag it and click on dissolve. And then when this little box pops up, we're going to click input features, and that should happen. Now we have to click on this tool right here, and they want us to double click on the dissolve process. And they want us to do the following changes as well. And they want us to go all the way down and choose PhD crosswalks hood. And then they want us to go to statistics and put in pop 2000. And for the statistics type, they want sum. They also want us to add two other statistics, tracks white also a sum, and tracks black, and that will also be a sum. With that done, we're gonna click OK. And I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger so it looks like that. Okay. Now we're going to right click on, as you can see, this one is shadow, has a shadow under it, and this one does not. What that shadow indicates is that a test has been run, and so we're going to run the dissolve. And it succeeded. So we're going to close. Now there's a your turn that I will go along and do with you, but we're not going to run it at the end like they want us to. What we're going to do is we are going to open up our search, and we're going to go back to tools, and joins. We want to add the remove join right under dissolve, and using the connect feature we want tracks to be removed. And then we're going to choose, let's see which one. then just choose that first one right there. Okay, now with that done, we can move ahead. What we're going to do is right click on Tracks 2, and we're just going to rename it. This is to give it a more professional look. And they want us to go through and change the names of everything else as well. Okay, so our map should look like something like that, and they want us to save. Now what they're going to have us do is right-click Base Map Polygon, and the reason that we have to go ahead and do that is just because the way the instructions are written, they use the new names, so you do need to go ahead and do that. So right-click on here and make this a model parameter, and we're going to do the same thing for crosswalk. And output dissolve polygons. So there should be 3 of them that are P's. Okay, now we're going to right click on add join process, and we're going to make it a variable from a parameter with input. And this little box popped up, so we're just going to move it to where it's no longer being covered up. And you can rearrange these like this, and none of the arrows will be disassociated from where they're supposed to. And they want us to make it a little bit bigger up here so the full thing's showing. Okay. And they also want us to make this input join field a model parameter as well. Then they want us to right click again, make another variable from parameter, and make an output field. Okay. And we will also be making that a model parameter. Now we're going to be inserting a title. So click anywhere in the white, then go up to then right click and create label. The book tells you what to label it. I'm just going to give it something a bit smaller. Just going to call it title. But you should follow along with what the book wants. I'm just doing this to save time. And they want us to right click, display properties. It's a little bit different from what we're used to. On font they want us to click on that and then press this little button right here. They want to make sure bold is selected and 14. And click OK. And then we can X out of there. What they want us to do now is to right click on the input join field and create a label. Click outside it, then inside, and we can move it. As you can see, it's tied by a little string to that circle. So we're going to double click, and they have a whole paragraph or a really long sentence that they want you to put in there. I'm not going to type in the whole thing. Okay. This is so if whoever uses it can understand what's happening. With that done, we're going to right click the new label, display properties, and where it goes down here to justify, we want it to be the left, then X. And if I go back in here, you want to go to the end of a word, you want to hold down the shift key and press enter, and it will make the rest go down. So you can make it to where it doesn't take up as much space. Once that's done, you just go up and click save. Now we're going to go up to model, and we're going to go to model properties. They want us to change the name to dissolve polygon. And this one would be, and then for the label, they want dissolve any subset of polygons. And then they have some things they want you to put in the description. To save time, I'm not going to do that. But when you're done with that, just click store relative path names, and then click OK. And then they want us to save again. Then they want us to close this window. Now in Catalog, we're going to right click and open. Okay, now with that done, what we're going to do is we're going to click on the show help, and the things that you wrote should appear in here. I didn't go ahead and do that, so it should explain things here for you. And then I just click OK. We close, and we're going to change this to be hollow. They want 2 and a red line. And if you go to the beginning of your chapter, or into this tutorial, there should be a picture that looks remotely like this. They want us to go to the draw by layer and bring tracks above neighborhoods. So your map should look something similar to this. There are other ways using the tools that we have been using to do this. This is just another more advanced way. So that's it for tutorial 8-7.